This is a pretty big story you're laying on us here.
Every 23rd spring, for 23 days, it gets to eat.
Creepers, creepers, where'd you get those creepers?
Come on, girl, sing along now.
Jeepers, creepers.
All right, now, goddammit, knock it off!
So we meet Darry and Trish, two college students on their way home for spring break. On a backcountry road, this rusty old piece of shit meat truck tries to run him off the road.
Why?
Well, I'm not sure, but he's got vanity plates, so you know what that means.
He's a dipshit. What do the plates say?
Gay fever!
Beating you.
Gay fever?
Hey, I'm only thinking the same thing Mom and Dad are gonna be thinking.
And the RV that they passed earlier pulled off the road when they saw him coming, so he must do this a lot.
Asshole!
But him driving a serial killer truck makes Trish think about a couple from their hometown who went missing 23 years ago on the same road, which is even scarier when they see the truck parked at an old church where the driver is putting something into a giant pipe.
Wrapped and roped in a sheet with red stains on it.
And then they see that he sees that they saw him, and he gets in his truck and starts ramming their car. At one point, the truck actually pulls alongside them, and Darry could have just hit the brakes and let the dude fly by, but instead, he speeds up and the truck rams him off the road. And then the beating you guy keeps driving, probably because he beat them.
You lose.
And then after they make sure the car's working and close the trunk with Darry's pink underwear, he tells Trish that they should go back to the church and see what's in the pipe. She thinks he's just being a gross boy who wants to see gross stuff, but he thinks that someone who is tied up in a bloody sheet and dropped headfirst down a giant pipe might still be alive, and he wants to find out.
Say what?
So after surviving an attack by a suspected murderer, these two stupidly go back to his body dump site.
Teenagers are stupid.
Yes, they are.
You are not making one goddamn bit of sense.
So they get to the church, and Darry thinks that he hears someone at the bottom of the pipe. He has Trish hold his legs so he can go down a little further and get a better look. And that's when he sees something moving. As he gets closer, he sees it's a few rats and starts kicking like a toddler throwing a baby fit, which makes Trish lose her grip, dropping Darry down the pipe. Once he's at the bottom, she now has perfect clarity of him without the help of a flashlight. There's also enough light to see that one of the bodies that got thrown down there is just a few feet away from him. And when he walks over to it, someone grabs his ankle.
So he's still alive? Who is he?
John Mayer. But what I want to know is, why was this dude vocal when they were above ground, but when Darry went down there with him, he decided to play the quiet game? But Darry opens the sheet to see that the dude's been cut open and sewn back shut. And then John Mayer whispers something into Darry's ear, and then he dies.
What did John Mayer say?
I don't know. Probably something about his body being a wonderland or some shit.
Baddie. That's how John Mayer would say it. Baddie.
So Darry goes back and tells Trish to go to the road and flag down any cars that might be able to help. So she does that while he looks for a way out.
You wanted the back way home.
After grabbing his flashlight, he sees that not only are there more bodies and sheets, but that the room is also decorated with more victims.
I hope you guys have hobo stab insurance.
And the people from his hometown are even conveniently displayed at eye level for him to get really scared.
Hello, beautiful.
But Trish also gets really scared when she sees an old beat up truck coming down the road. So knowing that she might have to quickly flee from a murderer, Trish decided to bring the car that isn't working all the way out to the road. And I'm not really sure why she did that.
I will tell them the exact same thing I'll tell you. None of your goddamn business.
And now she has to try to get the car started and off the road before the dude can see her. But just as she gets it started, it passes by and it's a completely different old piece of shit truck. But then Darry scares the shit out of her and they fuck off. Since they're almost out of gas, they pull over at a gas station, but the serial killer truck drives by and they run inside. Trish just starts yelling at everybody in the diner that they need help and asks the waitress to call the cops, even though there's a payphone right next to him. But that rings and someone asks him to get it.
Yeah, hello.
Have you seen the cats yet?
That is an interesting way to open up a conversation.
It's some psychic lady, and she knows about Darry's hand and even his belly button tattoo. She says that the guy in the truck is actually a demon or a devil, and if he hears the 1938 jazz hit Jeepers Creepers, that he needs to run. To which he says,
Fuck you, lady!
And hangs up on her for being a nutjob, who not only knew where he was, but what he was wearing, how he was injured, and had detailed knowledge of their future. Definitely somebody you don't want to talk to longer.
No, I look at you as a real expert.
So the cops show up and take a statement from him. Darry's getting very aggressive with everyone because he thinks that they don't believe him. But this is interrupted by a waitress telling him that somebody broke into their car.
That's pretty ballsy with the cops inside.
Yeah, especially since he only broke in to sniff Darry's dirty laundry.
Gross. What a creeper.
You know, I think that's a better reason to call him the Creeper than just taking it from the song title. Anyway, the cops are following Trish and Darry back to the church when they get a call saying the church is on fire. But then they hear something land on the roof of the car, and the lady cop gets pulled out the window, and the male stripper cop gets pulled through the roof, and they die. Then Trish hits the brakes when the male cop's head lands on the hood of their car. Not knowing it was his head, Trish goes to check on the cops, but doesn't think it's weird that her brother is yelling for her to get back in the car and that the driver has long white hair. But then she sees the cop's head and goes back. They stupidly watch this giant dude get out, pick up the head, and then make out with it.
What the hell was he doing?
Don't kink shame.
Whoa. Hold on. Now how is it that sniffing some dude's laundry is crossing some sort of line, but somehow this is okay?
Not what I would do, but it's each his own.
And also, I would like to point out that it is beyond kink when someone is forcing themselves on someone who hasn't or can't consent. Consent is king.
Right?
But they do leave after they watch it eat his tongue. A little ways down the road, Darry tells Trish to slow down, not because he realizes that they're still heading towards the church, but because she's driving too fast for his comfort. But it just so happens that she conveniently stopped right in front of some lady's house, and she wants to go use her phone. Then Darry sees cats running around and remembers the payphone psychic saying something about cats.
You know the cats I'm talking about?
We hungry.
The lady agrees to let them use their phone, but then the power goes out, and her cats go crazy, and even the wind stops. And that's when the crazy cat lady sees that she has a different scarecrow way out in the field. She threatens to shoot it, and then it jumps on her roof.
Maybe he can leap tall buildings in a single bound.
She hears it go inside her house, so she goes in to protect her cats. After 2 shots, they see her back on the porch, but it turns out that the giant creeper guy was just hiding behind this tiny little woman. He tosses her to the side, and she dies. And probably gets eaten by her cats too.
Like I said, we hungry.
Darry and Trish try to drive away, only to have the shifter on their car jam. The creeper jumps on the hood, and they reverse, resulting in him doing a sick backflip off the car. They then try to run him over, but he just runs over the car, and then they reverse again, and he just runs over it again. So he's just standing there in the middle of the road like, come at me, bro. So they drive at him again, this time running him over. But Trish doesn't think he's dead, so she runs him over 3 more times. And since a giant wing pops out of his trench coat, she hits him 1 more time, just to be sure.
This is why girls are smarter, okay?
They then go to the nearest sheriff's station where the psychic lady shows up, and the cops seem more concerned with her talking to them than they do with hearing about what happened to 2 state troopers. But she tells them that the creeper comes out every 23 years for 23 days to feed on humans to rejuvenate his body parts.
Well, if it's only killing to get new body parts, why would it have to kill so many people?
Well, it only wants specific parts from each person. So it'll take one person's heart, someone else's ear, and another person's feet.
Repeat, ass and butt, you lose.
And since it only has 23 days, I guess that's not enough time for him to find only one person that he could get all the parts from.
Specimen.
But it decides who it wants by scaring the shit out of people, and certain people let off a smell that's completely irresistible to him. But Trish and Darry aren't sure which one of them he wants, so they yell at the psychic lady to tell them who it is.
Who hears Jeepers Creepers while screaming in the dark?
It should be obvious. He was sniffing Darry's pink panties.
Yeah, if they just took a few minutes to think about it, they'd be able to figure it out. But they just might be in denial too.
Think about it, for Christ's sake.
I understand that it goes after people based on their smell, and it scares them on the road so they're stinky enough for him to find them. But how does it know how to drive?
Well, I mean, it's got wings, so why does it even drive to begin with? But what I really want to know is how did it get vanity plates? I mean, did he just go to the DMV and request them? He would need a driver's license to do that. I mean, was there somebody who actually made this guy take a road test?
Pull out whenever you're ready.
Maybe he stole it.
Well, if he did, that big-ass truck had truck nuts on it. And even a man-eating demon wouldn't be caught dead with those.
Oh, you are a class act, you know that?
But the old piece of shit truck shows up, and the lights go out. One cop goes to check on the inmates and finds the creeper naked and eating a dude's arm. And upon seeing the gray-winged creature, he moves a little bit closer until it looks like he starts humping the body.
Looked like he was liking it too.
And that's when the cop shoots at it, and he dies. The desk sergeant gets a call saying that it's on the south stairs, so way too many cops for a small town all go to kill this thing when it gets to their floor.
My first guess?
Inbreeding!
This one cop goes to check out the stairs, and the creeper comes from above and rips his heart out. And all the other cops just stare at him like, Tim, you good, bro? And then he dies.
I didn't expect that.
But Trish, Darry, and the psychic lady are at a dead end and need to go back to the lobby. But the creeper turns the corner and starts coming at him. The psychic lady stays behind so they can get away, but he leaves her alone, probably because he's racist.
Or maybe he just likes the way Darry smells better.
Well, he didn't bother loading the female cop in his truck earlier, and his house of pain was pretty monotone.
See, that's racism! That's what Jesse Jackson was talking about!
Actually, Trish kind of forgot about her too.
Killed, you said?
Yeah, a policeman.
But that doesn't matter, because they ran upstairs and hid in a room with only one entrance. The creeper breaks in and starts sniffing him, until he licks Trish and realizes he wants Darry.
Memories for shit.
Shouldn't he have known that from the clothes?
Well, 1, he can't read his name on his underwear, and 2, he doesn't know that those were boys' clothes because he's a fucking demon.
It dresses like a man.
But he's got a hold of Darry just as the cops come in, who, since time was of the essence, went back to their locker and changed clothes. But Trish just blows past the armed cops and tries to get the creeper to take her instead. She begs and pleads to let Darry go, but the demon just looks at her like, "Do I look like I speak fucking English to you?" and jumps out the window and flies off with Darry.
Oh, don't worry, you're young, your butt can take it.
She tries to run after him, but runs out of pavement and gives up.
You actually did something decent for me. That's a part of history you can't change.
I thought you said that the church burnt down. Where is it going to take him?
Oh, he found an abandoned factory, and since he has that song playing while he has Darry, he must have gone antiquing first and found an old gramophone and a Paul Whiteman and his Swing Wing album, and then went back to take out Darry's eyes.
Ha! That's mine! Sexy forever, huh?
Oh, I get it. He's only playing the song Jeepers Creepers because he's taking his eyes. So does he have like a different song for every body part?
I don't know. He might. I should also point out that it's been 23 years since all this happened, and it is springtime. Night!
We need help now.
What, is this a brand new rule, huh?
It's not a new rule. It's always been this way.
It's for her, not me.
Don't try and make this about the right thing to do.
If I don't, she gets depressed. And you don't even want to find out why?
Just get us out of here.